Well, we are wrapping up our huge adventure. We've been on the road for 26 days.
Something like that.
It'll be just a hair over 30 by the time we get home. Mm-hmm. And we have not spent one night in a hotel. We've slept in our rigs every single night. We've mostly showered at camp. Mm-hmm. Although there's been a couple places, the Alaska stove camp place had showers. We paid for showers somewhere.
On the road somewhere, heading into Alaska.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But other than that, we've been living in our rigs. And so I wanted to put together a video on lessons that we've learned from living in our Gladiators for basically a month now. And we have a list.
Yeah, you've got the list.
Yeah. So no particular order. We're going to run through them. We'll both talk about what we think about it. And hopefully this will help people who are trying to plan a big trip. It's one thing to do a weekend or a 3 or 4 day, but when you're doing a big trip, multi-week, there's a lot of considerations to take into account. So let's get started. Don't overpack.
Right. Don't overpack. If you fill up every space that you have in your rig, it's going to be really difficult to access anything you want, right? You're going to find yourself needing to unload a significant part of your vehicle to get at whatever it is that you want to get at.
Yeah, it can be a serious pain in the butt to overpack. Now, we were at the Overland, the big thing, and someone was talking about packing, and she said the rule of thumb is to leave 1/3 of your space open. Mm-hmm. So that gives you room to move things around, to get in and out. I think that's a pretty good rule.
I think it makes good sense to do that. Yeah, it's a
good
guideline.
When you are packing, you need to prioritize the placement of the things that are in there. And when I started, I had this pull-out drawer that was all the way at the bed, and I've literally got into it twice during the entire trip. So eventually that got moved all the way to the front because I never get into it. I moved the shower, which was all the way in the back, all the way to it was all the way in the front. I moved it all the way to the back because we use it almost every other day. Mm-hmm. So being able to prioritize the placement of your objects is very, very important. Like I said, this is in no particular order. It's not like a 1 through 10 list here. It's just a bunch of ideas we've taken down over the time. How about this one? Don't miss out on community involvement.
Right. It's so important to just be open to meeting people on the road. And my opinion, that's half the experience.
Oh, it certainly can be.
Is the characters you meet on the road and friendships that you strike up, which again, begs the point of, sometimes it's good to stay at those RV parks because it puts you in a situation where you're going to interact with some other travelers.
Kind of forced to sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, we've had great experiences at some of the campsites, meeting other people, hanging out all night long, drinking wine and eating cheese and just getting to know other people. The other key to that is if you talk to people, especially locals, you learn about things that may not be in the standard travel guides.
That's right. Right.
We were at a gas station and someone was asking us where we were going, and I told her, and she's like, "Well, are you going to the paddle boat graveyard?" I'd never even heard of it, and that was really cool.
Yeah, so, it was a great experience.
You'll learn about camping sites and all kinds of different little gems along your way that can really improve your overall experience.
Right.
So don't be afraid to talk to people.
Right.
If you're an introvert, you might have a problem with that. But,
Or in the case of, our most recent example, a local came in this morning and advised us of an evacuation alert.
Exactly. You might want to watch out for that. There's a fire nearby. Oh, okay.
Okay. All right.
Overplan for your power needs. This one is a big one. Now, Rich has a really good power setup. You haven't had any problems with power. And unfortunately for me, my big power station was in the shop, so I had to bring smaller ones and smaller power or solar panels, and I struggled with power. I never ran, well, I ran out one night, but only for like an hour. It wasn't a big deal. But you cannot rely on solar power to recharge everything.
Yeah, especially in this part of the world.
Oh my God. Canada and Alaska, I mean, I think I've used the solar panels twice because there just hasn't been enough sun. It's been overcast or whatever. You know, whatever you think your power needs are, it's probably going to be more.
Yeah.
And
but there'll be ample driving opportunity
yes.
to recharge.
Make
your
sure
battery.
you can charge while you're driving because there's lots of that. Along those lines, I use a CPAP machine, and I could not figure out why I was burning through so much power overnight. And eventually I went through the settings and I realized the humidifier was on. Well, I don't use the humidifier. I never have. And yet it was on, and that was drawing 65 watts of power. Just insane. Insane amounts of power. So I turned it off, and, well, that solved a big part of my power needs. Now, this one goes back to when we were in Calgary. If you think that storm system will miss us, you're too close.
It won't miss you.
It probably won't. You may catch the end of it. Batten down the hatches, get prepared for rain. If there's a storm system nearby, you will probably get hit. And that has held true almost every day of this trip. I mean, we've had some beautiful days, don't get me wrong, but we've had quite a bit of more rain than we expected, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you think, wow, there's a storm over there, get ready for it.
Yeah, and that's, not to digress too much, but if you're planning a trip to Alaska, be ready for rain.
It's going to rain.
It's going to rain, and it's going to rain a lot.
And sometimes pretty hard.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some gear along those lines later on. Absolutely expect to have problems. Things will go wrong. So we have definitely a number of examples of that. Things that have broken, problems on trails, your propane adapter hose isn't working right. Fortunately, we had a backup of that. If you're not prepared for things to go wrong, you may be in for some big shockers. So expect to have problems, which is why you should always do shakedown runs prior to a big trip. Check everything. How is it packed? How do you get to everything? Is everything working properly?
And have a backup to, your most important systems that you have. For example, do you have a backup cable for your refrigerator if it becomes damaged and unusable?
Yep, I had to use a backup cable for my refrigerator. We broke two Starlink cables. Fortunately, again, I have backups, and we're able to keep running. So that's anything that's critical, USB cables, power cables, have backups of, because things do fail over time. You might accidentally shut one in a door and break the wire, or who knows. Anything that's important, have a backup.
Although I don't have a backup coffee grinder, so I don't know. Make a note of that, Carrie.
Okay, backup coffee grinder. Yeah, that's important. I don't know what we would do without your coffee every morning.
It'd be grim.
This is a good one. Do smaller trips with the same people first. Are you compatible with the people you are with for extended periods of time in similar situations, including your own family?
Or especially your own family.
Especially your own
some
family.
circumstances.
Yeah. So Rich and I have done a couple trips together before. We were in Southeast Utah for like 8 days.
Right.
We've been in the Swell together. And so we were comfortable coming out here together. We've never argued. We've never disagreed on, maybe we've had disagreements on, do you want to stop yet? Do you want to keep going? Things like that. But we work it out so well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even though, we've had a couple of trips prior, we knew we would be putting it to the test on this trip, to be just together for this length of time. And I have to say that, I mean, literally we've had no arguments whatsoever. None. It's just been really easy going the whole time, even when we've had to face challenges.
And we've had a few, for sure. And I think the key to that is when you're doing something like this, you need to be flexible. Mm-hmm. You need to be adaptable. You can't just be so rigid in your ways. You have to be able to think about other people that you're with and, what they're going through, or, I've had bad days, you've had bad days, and, we've worked together to get through it all.
But, beyond that, I mean, yes, there's the flexibility, but, fundamentally, there's compatibility as well, right? We travel at roughly the same speed. You're a little faster than I am, but we adapt to that. But, when you want to take breaks, I'm open to that. When I want to take breaks, you're open to that. When I'm ready to camp, you're, ready to camp too. Yeah. I mean, we're really compatible, and I think that goes a long way to, to resulting in no disagreements.
Yeah, yeah. Sharing resources, I think, goes along with that. We both have fridges and freezers. We both had dry goods. And we've just shared resources, tools, equipment, food, taking turns, doing different things, delegating chores.
Yeah, sharing the workload. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you can only do that if you do some smaller trips with people.
Right.
I would, for my friends who are watching this, you probably know, I probably couldn't put up with some of you for 30 days. So, I'm just being honest, right? I mean, there's people I can be out there with for 3 days. There's people I know I've been out with for a week or more. But 30 days is a long time, so we've done really good. Mm-hmm. Showers are your friend, as well as anyone you have to sleep with. Yeah, we've taken a lot of showers, for sure.
Take more showers at camp than we have in commercial locations.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, like I said, sharing part of the workload. Rich is fixing coffee or breakfast. I'm putting the shower system together, getting the heater all set up, getting the water taken care of. And, it's worked out really well. We've been using the Bouge RV shower system. Mm-hmm. It's been working great, right? We had showers this morning, nice and warm.
I've had some challenges initially. I required quite a bit of tech support early on in the midst of showers.
Well, we found out that if you have the heat turned up to a very hot level, to where, you're like, wow, this is nice hot water, and you're running it for an extended period of time to do like a full body rinse, it may overheat. So we just turned the heat down a little bit and realized, okay, do shorter bursts, and we haven't had any problems with it since then.
Yeah, never, not since then. It's worked great.
That's the equipment. For me, I say you should have a way of monitoring all your equipments while you're driving, all your electronics. And for me, I can monitor my fridge, I can monitor my power stations, I can monitor my charging capability. Does your system have Bluetooth? You can monitor.
It does, but I've got a display panel, the Renogy One, and it's just so easy. Every time I open my tailgate, I just touch it, and it shows me everything that's going on. So, and it's been so reliable that, honestly, I've not had to give much thought to my power system at all.
Yeah, I mean, we started off having problems with my refrigerator just shutting off. We couldn't figure out why. And had I not had temperature gauges in there and realized that the temperature was going up, we might have driven for 10 hours without a refrigerator on and lost food.
Yep.
So I think monitoring ability is pretty good.
Yeah, and I do have Bluetooth connectivity to my Dometic fridge, and the H calorie one will beep at me if there's a problem.
Don't make your first time using your rig a big trip.
Right, that's really important.
Work up to it, you know. Start in your driveway, you know. Is it even comfortable overnight?
Yeah.
You know, sleeping in front of your house. Maybe you need a better mattress. You know, maybe you need something else. You know, then go out in the woods. You know, for a night or 2 nights, and then a week before trying to do a 30-day trip, because you will find a lot of things do not go as expected when you start off. Understand the needs of border crossings. You know, what do you need to have when you're going into Canada, out of Canada, into Alaska, back and forth? And there were some things I didn't know. We knew that we had to have rabies paperwork for the animals. We knew we had to have our passports. What we didn't know going from the Yukon into Alaska is we couldn't take firewood.
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of firewood, and they made me dump it all. So the more you know about going into the different borders, the better prepared you're going to be, and the faster the process is going to be.
Yeah, what's allowed, what's not allowed, and what do you need to declare?
Yeah.
And be honest. Be honest.
Yeah.
'Cause, the border agents are savvy, and they can pick up on dishonesty, and things will go south fast.
Very, very quickly.
Yeah, so it's best just to be honest, and that'll ensure a smooth crossing.
This is a good one. As long as you're driving in Canada and Alaska, something will always be hitting your windshield, whether that's bugs, rain or snow, or rocks. I have 8 cracks in my windshield. So
And I've got 3.
there is literally never a time that something is not hitting your windshield.
True.
I mean, you're up here and you're driving through the wilderness, something is hitting your windshield.
Yep.
And sometimes the bugs sound like rain.
Yeah.
It is just... And there gets to be a point where you simply just need to give up and stop trying to wash it off, because the moment they dry, you're done.
Right.
You know, if a big bug hits right in your field of view, hit it quick with the washer, get it out of the way. But you reach a point where it's so bad, the windshield wipers are doing nothing.
Right. They're just smearing it.
And you just wait for the next gas station and clean it off there. And you'll see, driving up and down, all the windshields here are just smattered with bugs. Until it rains, then it's really good they wash off pretty easily in heavy rain. Let's talk about some gear. Useful gear that we've had with us that have been big advantages to us. And I think probably one of our biggest ones are awnings.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
Well, literally, it's the biggest thing we have. But like just sitting here, it's been misting on and off, and we're staying dry.
And comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah. And preferably, if possible, have walls for it.
Yeah, walls make such a huge difference, because it's not only the rain that you need protection from, but the wind as well. And if you have side walls and you anchor them down, it gives you that protection from both all the elements, the wind and the rain, and makes for much more comfortable camping experience, right? And it takes, if you have inside living space in your rig, it expands that inside living space tremendously.
And I think there's two other big advantages a lot of people don't think of. When you have that, and you have even partial walls up, things like your thermocells are way more effective. Heat is way more effective. You know, you're not, all that stuff isn't just blowing right out.
Right.
You're stopping it and being able to take advantage of those walls to help keep the bugs out, help keep the warmth in. It is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Now, for us, we kind of cheated a little bit because we both have the same rigs. We have the same awnings. And I don't have a set of walls, but Rich does. So you'll see in some of the videos where we've parked next to each other and ran the walls from his canopy over into my canopy and just created a huge living space.
Yeah, it's like an apartment.
Yeah, super nice.
Yeah.
And because generally you only need to block the wind from one direction.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have vehicles on two sides and walls on another, you're pretty well protected. And you can sit way back into it.
Yeah, but if you do that, here's a tip. Do not park your camp chair under the junction of the two awnings because the water will collect and pool there, and when it dumps, it's going to be a direct hit on your chair.
So we're going to talk to Dirtbox Overland about some way of connecting two awnings together to kind of seal it,
Right.
and
Yep.
see if they can come up with a solution for that. Now, you've used it a couple times. I've used it a lot. The heat it. I am a mosquito magnet. I end up, even though I've been doing garlic and sprays and the thermocells, I have been getting on average 3 mosquito bites a day. And when I get them, they just drive me nuts. And I use that little heat it device. I put it on the thing and it heats it up and boom, I have no more problems with it. Mm-hmm. And you've used yours a couple times? Or?
3 times, yeah, effectively.
And it's very effective, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, for like a $30 device.
Right.
So as much as mosquito repellents and things are great, you're still going to get bit once in a while. Mm-hmm. And the heat it just makes that so much more bearable.
Yeah.
Let's talk about propane. A lot of people use the 1 pound bottles of propane. And if we only had 1 pound bottles, we probably would have gone through 6, 7 of them, 8 of them.
Who knows?
A ton. So we both have larger propane tanks. Mm-hmm. Now, you typically can't just hook up a large tank to a camp stove or, some of the other devices, our heater. You need a special adapter hose. Mm-hmm. And so having even I have a 5 pound, you have a 10 pound.
10 pound. Mm-hmm.
And having a hose adapter, and I'll put a link in the description, that allows you to use that tank with your 1 pound bottle accessories, your stoves, your heaters and things. Huge. Mm-hmm. I mean, a 10 pound tank takes up a lot less space than 8 1 pound bottles. Mm-hmm. So I think that was a big one. A water hose.
Right. Yeah, for when you need to fill your water tank, a long one makes it really easy to connect up to potable water sources, right? So if you use an app, say like Overlander, it'll show you, all the places where you can get potable water. And without exception on this trip, all have had a fitting that you can just screw your hose
I was going to bring that
onto.
Up. Every single one has had a hose fitting on it. And how long is my hose? Probably 20 feet?
Maybe, yeah.
20, 25-foot hose. Talk about a lifesaver, man. Mm-hmm. I would have had to be filling up a jug, walking it over to the vehicle, dumping it into the tank, and doing it 3 or 4 times at a station versus just hooking up a hose, pouring water in, moving over to yours, filling up your water.
Right. Or in my case, I've got a 5-gallon collapsible jug that I would normally fill up, and then my water system, I have a mechanism where I can put a hose into it and it will suck the water out of that container, filter it, and then put that back into my tank. But it's, it takes more time. If you have potable water and a hose, you can just stick it in, turn it on, boom, you're full.
And I would say for the vast majority of the places that we've been, the water pressure has been insane. Mm-hmm. So we have filled up our 15-gallon tanks in just a couple minutes. I mean, It's been crazy water pressure everywhere. A way to cut wood.
Yeah.
Now, I have a 6-inch chainsaw. Yours is
12.
A 12-inch. For some things, the 12-inch is overkill. For some things, the 6-inch isn't quite big enough. But we've used both of them a lot to cut firewood. Mm-hmm. We've Not needed them to clear any trails, right?
Not yet.
Not so we've been good there, but cutting firewood has been a biggie. You get to a place where we're at right now, there is tons of dry branches that are just perfect size for fires, but you need a way to cut it. Now, if you're trying to be a He-Man and you get a handsaw, that's good for you, but we're old and lazy, so chainsaws for us work great. And I think the chainsaw I have was maybe $60. So they're not expensive. I had 2 batteries that it came with. I'm on the second battery now, so it's been working really, really well. Now you have built-in solar panels on top. You have 400 watts up there.
No, it's not correct. I have 275 watts.
275 watts, and that's been doing good for you. I didn't have time to install my rooftop solar panels, so I have the Renogy portable solar panels, but I've needed to position them places where the rig wasn't, and so I had bought a 20-foot long extension cable for the solar panels, and that has served me pretty well on this trip. I've never had an issue of not being able to position the solar panels in the sun with a 20-foot cable. So to me, that was a biggie. Let's talk about rugs.
Let's talk about rugs. I mean, who'd have thunk, right?
Right.
That a rug would be such a game changer.
It is. And I think that's something a lot of people don't think about, right? Why do you need a rug in the first place, right? You're outdoors, right?
And we're not talking about, natural fabric rugs, right? More specifically, we're talking about outdoor camp rugs that are made out of like a woven plastic material.
Yep. Now, you have a regular, like, carpet type rug.
Yes.
Why has that been a problem?
Because it got wet the first day we entered Canada about a month ago, and it has never dried out ever since.
I bet.
It's still wet to this day.
I bet if you rolled it up, you could squeeze water out of it pretty easily right now.
Right.
It would probably just drip out still. It's so wet. These plastic rugs, and I'll show you a picture, and maybe I'll find some links to them. They're great. They unfold, they pack up really nice. We both have them at the entrance to our rigs so that we're not tracking so much dirt into the rig. That's nice. When you're sitting out at the campfire, you have them out so you're not in mud, you're not in wet grass. It helps keep things dry. Another thing we really found extremely useful for showers.
It's a shower mat.
Yep. I mean, I've used wood slats, I've used 2x4s, I've used all kinds of things to try and keep my feet from touching the ground and getting muddy while I'm taking a shower. And these plastic rugs have been the best thing.
Right. They've been really effective. I mean, I have an actual bath mat, and I've not pulled it out once because it allows the mud and dirt to soak through, and then, as soon as it gets wet, your feet are all muddy.
Yeah.
When you're trying to take a shower and clean yourself off.
This plastic rug has been awesome for showers.
Yeah.
The water goes right through it, and while you're showering, whatever dirt is on it gets washed off.
Yeah.
So you end up, as you're taking a shower, with a clean rug that you're standing on.
And when it dries, you shake them, the dirt comes right out, and they dry really fast.
Dry super, super fast.
Like, it's about the only thing that has dried naturally up here.
Quite true. Cooking. Talk about the Omnia.
Yeah, we both have Omnia ovens, and they've proven to be very versatile. We've cooked a lot of different meals in them on this trip.
If you watch a lot of my videos when I'm by myself, Katerina makes me a ton of pre-made burritos. And we have tried everything under the sun to heat these up in the morning for breakfast. We've tried them in oil, we've tried them in butter, we've tried them in water, we've tried them, you name it, I've tried warming them up. The two ways that work the best, one, put them in the engine bay while we're driving. Works really well. But the second way is in the Omnia. I just lay them down in there, turn it on, and as soon as the tortilla starts getting a little crispy, which I really like, a little crunch in the morning, they're done. And they're hot inside. They're just perfectly done.
Right.
And we've done pizzas. We've done chicken pot pies.
That's right.
Last night we had fettuccine Alfredo with baked chicken. You did the chicken in the Omnia.
That's right.
So basically, if you can bake it in an oven, you can bake it in an Omnia.
Yeah. It takes a little practice to use. I think probably the best advice, keep the flame really low.
Low and slow.
Low and slow in the Omnia. If you turn the heat up too high, you're going to wind up burning at your food at the bottom.
Now, I like do you have the silicone insert?
I do.
Yeah. Huge improvement. If you get an Omnia, make sure you add the silicone insert. It does help keep things from burning as quickly, and it makes cleaning so much easier. I mean, I wouldn't even want to clean the thing without it. It would be a pain in the ass. Garbage.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about. What do you do for garbage, right? You take kitchen bags, you fill them with garbage. You throw them in the back of your rig. What happens? They rip, they tear,
They leak.
They leak, they get shit all over the place. You have a pretty ingenious solution.
Yeah, it's actually the German term is a Klettersack. It's just a climbing rucksack that I used when I was
right here.
actively climbing, and so now it doubles as garbage bag. Right, I line it with a kitchen-sized garbage bag and hang it off the back of the rig, and it's just the right size. And I was trying to be like everybody else and get the giant bag that hangs off the spare tire in the back, and I actually bought one. I looked at it, and the thing is ginormous. It's like, who is traveling with that much garbage on the back of their rig? It's certainly not me. I don't travel with that much garbage. I mean, I get rid of it when it starts getting full, and I mean, I don't even produce that much garbage when I'm at home. No less being.
I mean, these
on
things
the
are
road.
designed for like large size hefty bags, not kitchen bags.
Yeah.
A small backpack, and then you have the advantage. You close it up. It's in a protective shell, basically.
Yeah.
So when you put it in the back, nothing's going to rip it. It's going to help keep it clean. It makes it easy to hang.
Yeah. And we're up here in bear country, and, to be responsible, it would be irresponsible to leave that garbage bag out on the back. So what do you do if you have those giant bags tied off to your spare tire or tailgate? Do you take that thing off every night and put it inside? This is just hooked on to a handle with a simple carabiner, and I just take it off and I throw it inside the vehicle, and I'm now bear safe.
Yeah. Very handy. Very handy. So,
And it doubles as a backpack. If I need a backpack, which I have once on this trip, then I simply take the plastic garbage bag out, and I've got my Klettersack.
well, and something we learned about garbage on this trip is while you are in Canada, there are trash cans everywhere.
Yeah.
Every pullout has trash cans. The gas stations have big trash cans. There are trash cans like probably every half mile, it seems, or at least every mile. There is probably a trash can somewhere.
Yep.
Then you get to Alaska. There is not a trash can to be found.
Anywhere.
Everything you take into Alaska, they want you to take out of Alaska.
Apparently. Well, in Hyder, at the top of the Salmon Glacier, there was garbage cans up there.
Yep.
That was an exception.
Yeah, but they were Canadian-style trash cans.
Well, they were, bear-safe trash cans.
Yeah, it is hard to find a place to dump trash in Alaska. We found it. Even the gas stations had little tiny trash cans.
Yeah.
Like, it's enough to dump, your soda in, but it's a big trash can or trash bag that's full. Good luck
with
trying to
that.
find a spot to dump that somewhere in Alaska. And I think our final one, let's talk about bugs. right? So we were over prepared for mosquitoes, which is fine. Better to be over prepared than under prepared. I had nets that I could put up in my canopy. We both have hats or nets to go over our heads. We have sprays up the wazoo. We had all kinds of stuff.
Thermocells and yeah.
Yeah, and the thermocells have worked absolutely fantastic. Our main one is the backpacker, which just sits on a little propane tank or the isobutane tank. That thing has worked great. We have the little portable ones. We usually put both of those out, and the bugs go away. We haven't had a problem. And you tried something on this trip, little rechargeable bug zappers.
Yeah, it was recommended by my vet because some of the chemicals in the thermocells can be toxic to especially cats. So I was very concerned about that. So she recommended these little USB chargeable bug zappers, and I did not find those to be effective against mosquitoes. Smaller, tiny little gnats and flies seemed to be attracted and worked on them, but it did nothing for mosquitoes. But what did work was a DC-powered fan, and I would plug that in when we get to camp and put that inside the camper and facing outwards, and that would just blow the bugs out. And a simple fan worked really well to keep the inside of the camper bug-free.
Oh, while we're speaking about fans, that's a fantastic use of a fan, but also sometimes you need them in your tent. We have had locations where, well, I wouldn't say it's ever been hot anywhere that we've been, but it's been a little stale, right? No wind, it's a little warm. Having a fan in there just to kind of blow on you while you're going to sleep, fantastic. Move that air around, you'll feel way more comfortable. Using it as a bug repellent was brilliant, and I started doing that. It worked great. Do you know what fan you have? Just a
No, I mean,
one?
it's just a generic one that I picked up at a truck stop a long time ago.
Yeah, I have the Cyclone 3, I think is what it's called. I mean, I love it. It went 3 weeks of me using it almost every day, and it has a timer, so I would set it for like an hour as I'm going to sleep. I went 3 weeks without having to charge it.
Wow.
Incredible. So very, very handy.
Yeah, mine just has, the 12-volt cigarette lighter type plug.
Yeah, and it's been working great. So I think we both brought some type of induction cooking just in case, right? There's too much wind, it's hard to cook with propane. We haven't used them.
I always have that.
Yeah. I have my Stoke Voltaics reactor. Leveling blocks.
Yeah.
We've had to use leveling blocks a couple times. I find that way more convenient than having to find rocks.
Right.
Because we've been in places where there were no rocks to put under the tires.
Yeah.
So what do you do in that case? Well, you could pull off your traction boards. I only carry 2, so it's only going to get me so high. There was one spot, I think I used 3 of 4 of them at one spot. So having a full set of leveling blocks has been, we've both used it at different times.
Yeah, that's one of my always in the truck items.
I think that's our list. So we've talked a lot about gear, talked about some lessons that we've learned, how to kind of plan for a trip like this. In terms of apps, Rich mentioned it, Overlander. I'm a little miffed that I'm not upset that they went to a pay model. They should, right? I mean, they got to pay for development, they got to pay for servers. So I don't care that there's a subscription model, but to get the full features, it's $100 a year.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a bit pricey when you are looking at Trails Off-Road for $40, which has, to me, way more functionality. However, Overlander has been huge for us for finding potable water and showers and camping.
Camps on occasion, but what we're finding is that the majority of the campsites marked are like side of the road, crash and dash type places.
Van life stuff.
more suitable for van lifers, and I don't see where people are putting in their favorite epic view campsites
No.
in a high
No,
Overlander,
and,
which probably makes sense because I probably wouldn't do that. Give away my favorite campsites.
Yeah, I mean, when you see a quiet residential neighborhood, nobody bothered us. No, we cannot set up our rigs, pop the tents, pull out the kitchens, fix dinner in a residential neighborhood. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I wish there was a filter on there to get rid of those and just show dispersed camping, true wild camping.
Yeah.
If that was the case, it would be way more useful for us on this trip versus having to sit there. Look at that one. Oh, it's a rest stop. I'm not stopping at a rest stop. This is a turnout on the side of the freeway. No.
Yeah. This
like,
is a gravel pit. Yeah.
Yeah. There's been some wild ones. But, 4 miles off the road, no one's out there, next to a lake. Bingo.
Yeah. That's what we're mostly looking for.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for $99 a year, I want to be able to find the stuff that I'm looking for and only the stuff that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
All those other types of stops that people do, not going to work. I don't want to see Walmart parking lots. I don't want to see Cracker Barrel parking lots because I'm not going to stay there. So I think we've got a lot of good things we've learned on this trip, and I hope this has been helpful for you guys who want to try and do some bigger trips. There's a lot to digest in this video, but we hope it was useful. And
we'd be interested to hear from you what you see as indispensable in your rig.
In the comments, let us know the things that you take on every trip that you found have really made your experience better. We're always learning. I mean, this was a big learning experience for us in a lot of different ways. So love to hear from you. Let us know what you think about our list, and we'd like to hear your lists. And at that, Rich and I are getting ready to part ways. He's heading back to Colorado. I'm heading down to Washington to see my brother and to Oregon to see some family before I head home. So you still have 4 or 5 days ahead of you. I still have about a week ahead of me. So
what a trip it's been.
It's been great.
Wow.
Yep. And I'm so glad to have done it with you, man.
Right back at you. Yeah. You've been a great partner.
You guys take care. Be safe out there. We'll see you on the trails.